What is going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG online video, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Mega Rayquaza deck. Now, those of you guys who have followed me for a while and know me well know that I love Mega Rayquaza. It has been one of my go-to decks this entire season. I've gotten the majority of my championship points with Mega Rayquaza decks, so naturally I just wanted to try it out in this new format. I actually think it is positioned very well. We've got a lot of decks running around that are really reliant on abilities that can't hit 220 damage very easily to one-hit knock out a Rayquaza, and Rayquaza can in turn knock them out pretty easily. And with 220 HP, even if we play a decent amount of items, it's going to be kind of hard for Garbodor to take a one-shot on us with a Trash Lynch until way later in the game. So I think Rayquaza is a very good deck right now, and we're going to go ahead, without further ado, jump in here and take a look at the Rayquaza deck that we're going to be playing today. Mega Rayquaza-EX, of course, the 220 HP colorless Mega Evolution Pokemon with Emerald Break. 30 damage. This attack does 30 damage times the number of your benched Pokemon. So with the Sky Field Stadium having up to 8 big Pokemon on our bench, we can hit for a maximum of 240 damage. We do have a couple of things that we could potentially boost those numbers with, we'll talk about in just a second, to get one-hit knockouts on things like Metagross GX, which is a deck that has seen some popularity recently. Also, we do definitely have to mention the Delta Evolution Ancient trait here, meaning that we can play this Pokemon onto a Rayquaza EX on the very first turn of the game to evolve it. So, on the very first turn, or on the first turn that Rayquaza came into play, we just get to go ahead and evolve straight up into it. What makes this deck so good is that Delta Evolution trait. So we're going to go ahead, look at the rest of the lineup here. We are running 3 of the Intensifying Burn Rayquaza. You could run the Dragon Type 1, that just does 30 for a double colorless. I think that this is still going to be better for the most part. Usually, even though we are moving into more GX Pokemon, I just kind of tend to favor the Intensifying Burn Rayquaza here. And we're also playing 4 copies of Shaymin-EX with that setup ability. Another thing that just makes this deck function so well, especially with Hoopa, which we'll talk about in just a second, just letting us draw cards without having to play items and things like that can be very nice. And we have a new cool combination that can let us draw specific cards with a supporter that we'll talk about in just a second. And of course, Hoopa-EX with Scoundrel Ring, letting us search our deck for up to 3 Pokemon EX and putting them into our hand, making it very easy for us to search out the pieces of our Mega Rayquaza line, getting easy Shaymins out, even getting out things like Magearna-EX, which we are playing here with the Mystic Heart ability. This is going to be really good in those matchups such as decks that play Drampa to prevent them from discarding our double colorless energies. Is going to be good against like Espeon that can confuse us, all those type of things. Magearna can definitely be strong against Greninja so that they can't bubble us with a Froakie to buy time. Magearna is going to be very nice there. We're also running a few non-EX Pokemon here. We'll finish off with the EXs, I guess. We do have 1 copy of Dragonite here. I do think that you only need 1 copy at the time right now. Lots of decks have moved away from Parallel City. I can't really think of any meta deck that has done well recently playing Parallel City, so this pull-up ability is still really good, worth including in the deck, but less necessary than it used to be with Parallel City running around all over the place, which is why we cut down to just 1 single copy. We are playing 1 copy of Tapu Lele-GX as well with that Wonder Tag ability, letting us once during our turn search our deck for a supporter card, or not once during our turn, excuse me, when we play it from our hand onto our bench, searching our deck for a supporter card and putting it directly into our hand. This is going to be really good for searching out Lysandres at the right time, getting draw supporters if we have a dead hand, and even some of our tech supporters such as Kukui and Mallow, which we'll talk about in just a minute. We are also playing 1 copy of the Tapu Koko promo. This is going to be good against things such as Metagross that have more than 240 HP that we could have a hard time one-shotting, just spreading damage across the board with a Flying Flip early, making it so that we can make it a lot easier for us to hit knockouts with Rayquaza later on in the game, not having to have that full bench of 7 or 8. Also 1 copy of Sudowoodo. This card, of course, hurts our deck a lot, but it's also just a good card in general. This Roadblock ability, limiting our opponent's bench to 4 Pokemon, meaning they can't have 5 Pokemon. If they do have 5, they have to discard 1. With so many coming into play abilities, such as Tapu Lele and such as Shaymin-EX, having this roadblock to stop our opponent from really getting to play all the cards they want to is just really nice. And with Brooklet Hill being a card that a lot of decks are playing, those water decks and the fighting decks and even Volcanion decks, if they play Brooklet Hill down turn 1, we immediately get down Sudowoodo, which is super nice. And then to round out the Pokemon here, we also have one copy of Oricorio with the Supernatural Dance Attack. This is obviously for the Vespiquen matchup. Vespiquen does need to have a lot of Pokemon in the discard in order to one-shot a Mega Rayquaza. So once they get to a high amount of Pokemon, we can definitely come in with an Oricorio and just do a lot of damage, spreading a lot of damage. And Oricorio also works really well with Tapu Koko. After we've used Tapu Koko a couple times, it's easy to come in with Oricorio and clean up a couple of knockouts. So there we go. There is the Pokemon lineup. We're going to go ahead and expand it here, take a look at the rest of the list, and see what we have to work with. We are playing one copy of Field Blower. This is honestly a card that I don't think you necessarily need in this deck. One that I have cut for other cards and put back in, taken out, putting back in a few times now. But it is still just good, specifically against the Zoroark matchup. If you can set up with a Sky Field and then Field Blower away your Sky Field, it's harder for them to one-shot a Mega Rayquaza. So that's one specific matchup I added it for. Also Garbodor, of course, with that Garbotoxin ability. Getting the tool off of that so you can get your abilities back can be nice, but you don't really necessarily need your abilities as much because people aren't playing Parallel City, so you still get to hit for 150 damage even if you're at a bench of 5, and then you don't even need to use your abilities. You can just bench more Pokemon. If you just like bench a Hoopa for nothing, you're just increasing your damage, so you don't mind not using your ability sometimes. So honestly, you don't need it as much for Garbodor as you might think. It still can be nice to get rid of that tool on Garbodor though, for sure. But that's just kind of explaining there why I have gone back and forth between having this card in the deck. I do like it right now. I don't think I would take it out for anything at the moment, but, you know, lists do tend to change from time to time. We've also got 3 copies of a Mega Turbo here, letting us attach a basic energy card from our discard pile to one of our Mega Evolution Pokemon. So if we discard one of our basic metal energies, we can easily power up a Mega Rayquaza using the Mega Turbo. 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher as well, letting us put a Pokemon from our discard pile back into our hand, or shuffling 3 Pokemon from our discard pile into our deck, whichever one we need. Both effects can be very good for us at specific times. We also have 1 copy of Special Charge, letting us recycle those double colorless energies. Really such an important resource in this deck. We also use it as a way to retreat sometimes if we've lost our Float Stones, if we've had to discard them, if they've gotten Field Blowered. We do have everything in our deck can retreat for a double colorless except for Dragonite. So if we have to retreat things, we have double colorless energy to do it, and Special Charge to bring them back. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, of course, just letting us get that turn 1 Hoopa, letting us search for Shaymin, all those things Ultra Ball is going to be good for. 4 copies of VS Seeker, letting us reuse any of our supporter cards, and 4 copies of Skyfield. We talked about this already, just letting us have that huge bench so that we can hit for that massive 240 damage. We are also playing 2 copies of Hex Maniac, still just such a good card in this deck for those things like Volcanium, Metagross now being very popular, Vikavolt Tapu Bulu relies on abilities very heavily. Lots of decks just really still rely on their abilities, so Hex Maniac having 2 copies is super nice. We also have 2 copies of Lysandre here, letting us bring up whatever our opponent has on the bench. We also have 1 copy of Mallow, which is one of my favorite inclusions into this deck from Guardians Rising. Lets us search our deck for 2 cards, shuffle our deck, then put those cards on top of it in any order. So if we ever have Mallow and Shaymin in our hand, usually we're just going to be able to search our deck for any 2 cards we want. This combo is so strong, and this is one of the ways we can keep ourselves from having to play too many items against those Garbodor decks. Just getting out the specific resources we need at a specific time with Mallow, so strong. 2 copies of N here, letting us disrupt our opponent and also give us a little shuffle draw later on in the game, potentially. 1 copy of Professor Kukui. We're going to use this to get that one shot on those 250 HP Pokemon. Things like Metagross we could go against. We could potentially play against something like Incineroar or Primarina, or Orsigaleo or Lunala. So if we play against those things, Kukui will definitely be useful if we haven't been able to spread around damage with Tapu Koko. And then 3 copies of Professor Sycamore to round out the supporters here. Just still one of the best draw supporters in the game, without a doubt. 2 copies of Float Stone, letting us retreat stuff at times if we need it. And 3 Rayquaza Spirit Links, so that we can get into that Mega Rayquaza without having to end our turn. To round things out, we do have 4 double colorless energies and 4 metal energies, just finishing things off there. And there is my current Mega Rayquaza list. We're going to hop onto the Versus Ladder, see if we can't get a couple wins, and see how it goes with this deck. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, if you like Mega Rayquaza as much as I do, please be sure to leave a like down below. Helps me out a ton, lets me know you enjoy seeing what I'm doing, and also make sure you're subscribed if you haven't. That way you can get notified anytime we put up a new video. So a Grass, Psychic, Colorless Water deck, I believe is what I saw. So, maybe going to be some sort of Vespiquen deck. We'll have to see. We will, of course, choose to go first. And we have not that bad of a start, honestly. We're going to go ahead and choose to start... we'll start a Shaymin. I think that's fine. We can always Sky Return it. And we can Sky Return that as opposed to we'd have to put a Float Stone onto Sudowoodo. So I like just starting it to have the option. Since we know we have Hoopa to get another Shaymin, we have another Shaymin in our hand. I think that's, you know, totally fine. We're going to go ahead and get that turn 1 Sudowoodo down, limiting our opponent's bench. Go ahead and get down Magearna, and we will go with Hoopa-EX here. Search out a, I think just 2 Rayquazas and a Mega. We did prize 1 of each. We do have the other 2 Shaymins, though. Looks like we prized our Tapu Koko. And our other Hoopa, which is worth noting. So good to know that. Got all of our VS Seekers. Got all of our Ultra Balls. Looks like we prized a Sycamore and prized a Double Colors Energy. That's going to just about cover it. We got our Special Charge. Those are the important things to know. And yeah, we'll go ahead and use the Sky Field Stadium. Get these Rayquazas into play. Attach Spirit Link, go ahead and get a Mega out, and then we'll Shaymin set up for 5 cards here, and just continue to dig. And we haven't played a single card from our deck yet, no items in the discard pile. Of course, I don't think we're playing against Garbodor right now. So we can Ultra Ball. We'll get rid of a Metal Energy for sure, and an Oricorio. We just get rid of Oricorio here. I think that's okay. Now we could get... Honestly, I kind of just want to go Lele for Hex and kind of try to slow down their setup a little bit. We could N as well, attach DCE to like Shaymin, N. We could just get the Mega Rayquaza here, and then N. We do have 2 Float Stones, so we have plenty of ways to retreat Shaymin. I think we'll just go grab another Mega, get that set up. We'll go ahead and attach Spirit Link, get another Mega in play. Go ahead and attach a DCE to one of the Megas and play the in. And if we get a Mega Turbo, we will be able to fully set up a Mega Rayquaza. Looks like we didn't get one here, though, which is fine. But we are just going to go ahead and pass, end our turn on to our opponent's turn. Let's see what they can do, see what they can make happen. I don't know, maybe we could have just gone Lele for N, but I'm okay kind of saving Lele, I think, at this point. So we do see them discard an Ultra Ball. Then playing the Acrobike, we see the Unknown. That definitely makes me think this is going to be Vespiquen. So, I don't know, maybe holding on to the Oricorio would have been okay as well. But we have plenty of ways to get it back. We do have Rescue Stretcher, we have the Dragonite. Plenty of ways to bring Oricorio back to do some real solid damage. So, off that Shaymin, let's see if my opponent was able to really get anything. They do have the Unknowns to discard to do some damage that way. Or to draw some cards that way, excuse me. Another Farewell Letter. Let's see if they can get a Zorua or a Combi bench this turn. Excuse me. Zorua is definitely something that could be an issue for us, but as set up as we are... at this point, he would need a Choice Band on 1-to-1 shot of Mega Rayquaza. We do see the Ultra Ball come out. He does get rid of one of those Zoroarks. That's definitely not bad to see. We see a Combi come down. And if we top deck a Float Stone, we can just Lysandre and KO this Combi, actually. And honestly, if I was him, you know you're not really going to be attacking this turn. I would probably have put the DCE on Shaymin to Sky Return this turn, as opposed to putting it on the Combi. But we're going to have to top deck a way to retreat. The Shaymin or a Mega Turbo would allow us to knock out Combi this turn. And if we can do that, I think that's going to be our best option. We do see the Force of Giant Plants come in. We will just discard the Shaymin. We do have Stretcher to bring that back, potentially. Also Dragonite, and 2 Shaymins left in the deck. But we'll see what else my opponent has going here. We see Rescue Stretcher, maybe getting back another Unknown, or just shuffling back Vespiquens and Zoroarks. Nope, he's going to get back another Unknown. I guess he just really wants to draw cards. But there's the Vespiquen. He had one in his hand, so he's okay with that. I guess he's going to try to knock out the Shaymin this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He needs one more Pokemon in a Choice Band or 4 more Pokemon in the discard to do it. Let's see if he could get there. And again, this is where I would have just liked to have seen my opponent's Sky return this turn. Gets the Shaymin off the field. But yeah, it looks like he might just come up maybe just an Intelligence Gathering if he doesn't have a great hand. But no, he's going to go ahead and be Revenge. Put 70 damage on the Shaymin. And we do top deck another double Colorless. So we'll go ahead and put Sky Field in play. Put the DCE on Shaymin. And I think we're just going to N here. Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and N. And let's see if we can get... Ooh, no Mega Turbo or anything. That's unfortunate a little bit. We can dig for it. We can Field Blower away his Float Stone. Rescue Stretcher back Oricorio. Let's see if we can get it. I'm okay Sky returning the Shaymin, honestly, but if we can get back... if we can take a knockout this turn, I would rather do that. So we will Field Blower. We'll get rid of Float Stone, and I guess we'll get rid of one of these Spirit Links. Getting rid of it means we could potentially retreat with a Float Stone later. And we're just going to be digging for the Mega Turbo here. Let's see if we can get one off this Shaymin setup for 3. We don't. We can dig a little more with another Shaymin. I don't know how bad we really need it right now, but I think it's okay. We'll get rid of Hex and I think Mallow. Go get another Shaymin. We do see 3 Mega Turbos in the deck. Let's see off this setup for 3. Can we hit 1? And we do not. That's okay, though. We can just go ahead and Sky Return. And honestly, I think I might just send up... Well, Sudowoodo's so good, though. He's hitting right now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 70. I don't think he'll be able to knock out like a Magearna. I think I send up Magearna. I really don't know, guys. I think Sudowoodo is the safest play. It's like the ability is so good in this matchup. I really don't want to let him have even prizes, though. So we're just going to send up Sudowoodo. If I can force him onto odd prizes, I think that'll be best. We can retreat for a DCE, of course, and we do know we have 2 Float Stones in the deck. Unfortunately, I'm not playing Olympia in this list, so we can't just go Lele for Olympia or something like that. That would be nice. Seeing both of his Zoroarks hit the discard pile is definitely really nice. Definitely really nice. And we're going to see a Klefki come out. So that, of course, can make things harder for... you know, we can't attack him with a Rayquaza, obviously, but we can still attack with an Oricorio or even Sky Return a Shaymin that turn or something like that. We can set up a Soul Blaster for a final knockout or something like that as well, so that's something to consider. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he is going to knock out Sudowoodo here. And as long as he doesn't discard like 1 or 2 more Pokemon... Have we already gotten rid of Field Blower? Yeah, we did. Okay. So Choice Band going to go onto the back Combi. Let's see what the Lysandre brings up. The Rayquaza. Okay. Onto our turn. So we have Lysandre. We can just Lysandre KO something. Another DCE onto the active. Lysandre KO. Just the Combi, I guess? We could, of course, also just Lysandre KO one of the EX attackers. But I think just bringing up Combi, taking a DCE out of play, and a Choice Band as well is going to be really nice. He will need to discard... Well, I guess the Vespiquen will get... Or the Combi will get discarded, so he will be able to knock out the Rayquaza. So that'll put him at... he'll be hitting for 120. We get Koko off the prizes. Not going to be as good in this matchup. Maybe just spreading damage to make it easier for Oricorio later on. But we'll go ahead and see what my opponent can do here. They are at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Pokemon in the discard, so we can knock this out and put 4 on a Combee if he benches another Combee. Oranguru does Instruct for 2, or Instruct for 1, excuse me, finds Unknown, he discards Unknown. Shaymin's going to set him up for 4, though. And we'll have to see if he does, you know, he is going to knock out this Rayquaza. We're going to have to make a new Rayquaza here this turn, which we can definitely do. He's going to end us, though. We could have maybe Ultra Balled away something like the Hex and the, I don't know, maybe a Sky Field. Less cards to draw, but we still want to keep Sky Field around if we can. We will get Special Charge back in the deck, though. And I think we'll be able to take a knockout here with Mega Ray. We'll Special Charge back 2 DCEs. We'll go grab Shaymin with the Ultra Ball. So we'll go ahead and Special, or Mega Turbo, excuse me. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of Hex and the other Mega Turbo. Grab Shaymin. We could also Lele for Sycamore, which I think that actually... Well, we can Shaymin and then draw Sycamore, so I guess this is technically highest odds. Just grabbing Shaymin, then we can play Supporter on the other end. Go ahead and Special Charge back 2. We'll put a Float Stone on Hoopa, and we'll go ahead and use Shaymin, set up for 6 cards. See if we can't find that double colors. If we can get double colors in like Hex this turn, maybe that would be good. There's a DCE, no Supporter though, so that's a little unfortunate. And we don't have another Rayquaza yet, but he's gonna have to find theoretically his last Forest. He's down Revitalizer already, so he needs to find Combee and Vespiquen and a DCE. Yeah, not hitting a Supporter there. It would have been nice to either Hex or N even would have been fine, but we'll take what we get. We will just go ahead and Emerald Break. We could have retreated and used Oricorio that turn, maybe? But now we're in a position where we can just potentially Lysandre twice to win the game. And Oricorio is now going to be able to knock out a Shaymin as well, so if we just take one knockout with Rayquaza, then we can also knock out a Shaymin with an Oricorio. So I'm liking our positioning here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Pokemon in the discard. Gonna go ahead and play the teammates. Let's see what he gets that's gonna help him here. Oranguru can hit Rayquaza for 120 and set up a 2-hit knockout. But I don't know how much that's really gonna do for him. We do have our other Mega Ray, or Baby Ray, excuse me, in the prizes, so the only way to get that back is to Dragonite. Unfortunately, we don't have a bench spot for it right now, so if he replaces it, then we could get back the Rayquaza. We'll have to see. He does replace our stadium, so we'll get rid of the Shaymin, and just another Shaymin, and another Shaymin, I guess? Yeah, just the 2 Shaymins. Does get the Wonderlock, so this is a turn we can go with Oricorio. We can also try to set up another Rayquaza. He's going to Wonderlock his Oranguru, excuse me. We'll see what he... Is he just going to Psychic for like 120? There's a DCE. He hasn't played any Special Charge yet, right? Yeah, he's played 1. And so these are his only 2 DCE. Honestly, we could just Lysandre. He's down 1 Float Stone, though, so he probably has a way to retrieve at least 1 Float Stone left. Let's go ahead and Sky Field. Oranguru does knock out Oricorio with a Psychic. So go ahead and attach here. Retreat off this. Go ahead and Mega Turbo again. Back onto the Rayquaza. Actually, I think I probably should have just held the Sky Field. Next turn we can go Dragonite back, Oricorio. or something like that, but I think we'll just go ahead and Supernatural Dance. Knock out one of the Shaymins, and put the other damage on the Lele. He can obviously Sky Return the other Shaymin potentially, but he can't Sky Return the Lele. He would have to, in order to get a DCE this turn though, he'd have to like retreat, plus Special Charge, plus Sycamore, or something like that to hit it. But yeah, he's, you know, all his energy is in play, either on the board or in the discard pile. So there's 10 on Shaymin, and I believe 2 more here on Lele, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So we'll take 2 prizes. There's Sycamore and a DCE, very nice. He'll knock out our Oricorio. And then next turn we can knock out, we can Dragonite it back. If he doesn't in, of course he can still in. You know, he has, you know, only played 1 via Seeker. So. There goes the Lele. So this will probably end. He'll probably go down to NS. I think playing the Sky Field there is fine, actually. Ooh, maybe he prized his other in. Actually, looking at it now, I kind of thought about, like, maybe I should have held the Sky Field, but by playing it, he's probably out of stadiums. So, you know, most lists are only running the 2 Forest right now. So since he's out of the stadiums, I think playing it is the best decision there. And if he doesn't in us, excuse me, if he doesn't in us, yeah, he's going to Psychic. Ooh, actually does not even knock us out. I really thought, oh, it does 20 more. For some reason I thought it did 30 more, so we just win the game. We will Supernatural Dance the Shaymin. And win the game there. So, Oricorio putting in some really solid work against Vespiquen. I think my opponent didn't necessarily manage their resources the best. I think, like, earlier in the game, like I said, they should have Sky Returned one of those Shaymins, as opposed to hitting a Shaymin for 70 that just got Sky Returned in return. And it's going to make me place this damage, so... but then also, he had all his energy on board, so he could have been in an awkward spot to where, if his, like, last Float Stone was prized, I could have just Lysandred the Lele and just stalled him out for the rest of the game, since all of his energy was either... on the board or in the discard pile, plus the Special Charge was down. So well, I guess he did have theoretically 1 Special Charge, 1 Float Stone left, but fewer options, and that could have just like bought me time to just reset my board up. So we're gonna get a Mamoswine line right here, very nice. And yeah, I'm really liking the new reward system, letting us excuse me, letting us ladder up a little quicker, so I'm a fan of that. Let me know what you guys think of the new ladder system, giving us more points versus rewards and stuff like that, and for win streaks. But we'll see if we can find another opponent and take another win with Mega Rayquaza, hopefully. One of my favorite decks. This is a high-up choice for me right now for the International Championships in Indianapolis. If you guys are going to be there, I'm definitely going to be there, so hope to see some of you guys there. Definitely come up, say hello if you see me at the tournament, all those things. And we're going up against Eeper here, maybe another Vespiquen deck. 2 in a row. Wait, we saw... Did we see water in this as well? I can't remember if the last type... I definitely saw Grass, Colorless, Psychic. I can't remember what the other type was, so this could also be Decidueye. We start Sudowoodo. Again, we had it in our opening hand last time, but this time we just straight up start him. Our hand is a little awkward. We have to Sycamore away some kind of important resources, potentially. Special Charge, double Colorless, putting us at 3 for the rest of the game immediately. And we just see my opponent start an Oricorio. Level Ball. Excuse me, Level Ball here. See what this finds him, and it is a Rowlet. So we will be playing against Decidueye here. This might be, if he did have Water type, it could be Decidueye Ninetales, though. Another Level Ball. Let's see. Rowlet again. So no Oddish yet. Maybe not playing the Vileplume version, of course. Ultra Ball. This one will probably grab a Shaymin or a Lele, if I had to guess. Oh, never mind. Oh, yep. Okay, so just going to grab a Vulpix there. So he must have another, like, Supporter or a Shaymin or something in his hand. Oh, he just had another Lele. He opened up with 2 of his Leles. Probably both of his, the only 2 he plays, most likely. I'm just going to go ahead and grab Sycamore. He, of course, is locked now, as far as his bench goes, so only 2 Decidueyes for you, my friend. Gonna just Sycamore away via Seeker. And with that fresh hand of 7, let's see what he can get in play. Let's see. if we see a forest or anything like that. Nope, just a pass. Okay, so we get a Sky Field, we get a Float Stone, and we're just going to have to Sycamore here, unfortunately. Kind of a painful Sycamore. Mega Turbo, DCE, and Special Charge, all good cards. So we're going to go Rayquaza. We're actually going to Ultra Ball away in, and the Mega. Go grab Hoopa. We do have our other 3 double colorless, which is really good. 2 Lysandre, 2 Hex as well. Hoopa here. Oh, we prized our again 2 games in a row. We prized 2 Baby Rays and 1 Baby Ray and a Mega. So that's pretty funny. We'll just go Hoopa. I think we prized a Spirit Link. I'm gonna check again, of course. Get you, get you, get you. And yeah, we prized a Spirit Link, so hopefully we can find that. We have our Lele, though. We've got 3 VS Seekers. So we can definitely still... Having all 4 of our Shaymin is definitely good, but... we have Rescue Stretcher to shuffle back the Rayquaza, potentially. I think I'm not going to do that, though. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Shaymin setup. Yeah, I think so. We do find a Metal. Kind of thinking I'm not going to attack this turn. So I might just go ahead and attach this. Next turn we do have Shaymin Mallow, as long as he doesn't bump our stadium. If he does, we do have Sycamore. So I think we'll just go ahead and Mega Evolve to end our turn. Okay, there we go. Just try to get a little setup. He had kind of a slow start as well, missed his forest. We'll see what he can do to improve his setup. He, of course, can't play his Shaymins or any other Lele because of the roadblock ability from Sudowoodo. There comes a Ninetales. And there's a forest, okay? So there goes the Shaymin plus... there goes the Shaymin Mallow play we had in mind. And we're just going to see my opponent end, so we can still potentially get off the Shaymin Mallow play if we get Sky Field Shaymin plus via Seeker. No Sky Field, but we could still get it. We do have a double colorless, though, which is nice. Ooh, what's he going to do? Supernatural Dance, put 1 on the Rayquaza? Wait, why did it do 0? 1 damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon. Oh! It prevents it with Mystic Heart? Yeah, I guess it does. That makes sense, actually. So that's pretty funny. And kind of unfortunate, but pretty funny, if you ask me. We're just going to go ahead and end here, I think. No reason to Ultra... Like, we could get another Metal in the discard, but we don't want to get anything with the Ultra Ball. Yeah, we'll just fail it and in. Yeah. I wish we could Lysandre here. Getting rid of either like a Rowlet or the Ninetales even would be nice. No Sky Field, but that's okay. We are just knocking out a little Oricorio. Let's go ahead and bring him up and Emerald Break. Take the KO. That is really funny that Supernatural Dance prevents, or Mystic Heart prevents Supernatural Dance. I guess that makes sense. I guess that does make sense. Because that is an effect, even though you're placing damage counters, you're not doing damage, and placing damage counters is an effect. So we'll see what he sends up here. He's going to send up the Ninetales. Most he can hit us for is 50, but he may try to just set up a KO on the Shaymin or something like that. But if he does that, we could potentially have a play where we get another stadium and then Field Blower away the stadium so that Shaymin doesn't get knocked out. We'll have to see what we do. Gonna go ahead and get a Decidueye in play, so those Hexes will be nice if we can get them going. VS Seeker probably gonna end. I'm very okay with that. We were gonna have to end ourselves on the following turn, so just nice to see a fresh hand here. And hopefully we will be able to get a one-hit KO on the Ninetales this coming turn. Not looking hot. Decidueye. So he's going to get 2 Decidueyes in play, so he's probably going to try to set up a KO on Shaymin next turn. Just hit us for 40, and then Ice Blade. So that next turn, 1 Feather Arrow knocks Shaymin out. We could Sky Return to kind of like counteract that, but he's actually going to go Feather Arrow Rayquaza. I guess he just really wants to pressure this. He might not even attack the Shaymin. Yeah, I mean, that does make sense. That does make sense. So we can Ultra Ball. Let's see, okay. Hasn't played any Float Stones yet, so I'm not going to just Lysandre, Decidueye, or anything like that. We'll Ultra Ball, get rid of Kukui Metal. 3 Sky Fields in there. See if we can draw them. Go ahead and attach a DCE to Rayquaza. I think we'll just Sycamore here. Yeah, leaves us with 1 more Lysandre in the deck, as well as 2 VS Seekers left, so that's fine. Okay, I was about to say, if we whiff this Sky Field, whew, that would have not been fun. But we do get the Sky Field, so we need to bench both the Dragonite and the Lele. Or we could just Dragonite up Koko, which I think is fine. So go Dragonite, pull up Koko. Go ahead and put the Float Stone on Dragonite. Don't want to play Mega Turbo. Don't want to play Lele, I don't think. If he has a DCE, he can knock out this Rayquaza. But we will have Lele to... Even if he replaces Stadium, if he knocks this out, we have Lele to go search out Sycamore and try to set up another Rayquaza. So I think that we're all good. Yep, just going to go ahead and everyone break. Sorry. I know sometimes I do take a little while, but I just want to make sure everything is all good, that I've got everything checked off that I need to do. There's Hoopa and the Mega, very nice, since we did have to discard a Mega earlier on. Float Stone going to go onto the active, so good thing we did not just Lysandre and hit this. And we'll probably see my opponent in here, puts us at 3, puts him at 6. This is going to be a big turn. If he doesn't hit the double colorless energy, we will just kind of take a strict advantage at that point if we knock out Decidueye. And we get the Hoopa, so we can do it. Feather Arrow onto the active. Again, maybe... Oh, yeah, he does get the DCE. Okay, so he will knock this out. But we will be able to set up a replacement Rayquaza since we did draw Hoopa plus Spirit Link. Nice. Very nice. So we will be able to take a knockout here and kind of just go ahead from there. He gets, you know, he's down all of his energy attachments. So that's a pretty good couple of cards to draw there off of the N. We'll go ahead and Hoopa Scoundrel Ring. We'll search for Shaymin and Rayquaza. We can actually Mallow here to get... I don't even know what we get if we use Mallow. I think it might be better to Hex, but we can't do that, unfortunately, because there's not one in the discard. Yeah, Hex would be ideal. I guess we just N. That puts us at kind of a... Well, I guess if we put him at 4 cards, I think that's the best option, since we are taking a knockout. Yeah, I think we are just going to N. Unless we can draw the Hex off the Shaymin, I think that'll be the best option if we do. But if not, we will just end. So let's go ahead and Shaymin set up. We will be hitting now for 240 to knock out Decidueye. No Hex. That's okay. Stretcher is not going to do much for us. We could just Kukui to draw a couple cards. Or just hold it, honestly. So the next turn we can Lysandre and KO something. I think I'm okay just holding it. Leaves an out in the deck if he ends us in the VS Seeker. We get the Spirit Link and the Baby Ray. And from here, I'm not thinking there's much my opponent is going to be able to do. Replace the Stadium and hope we don't draw a replacement Stadium, but we do have 2 left. Here comes a Dartrix. There's the Revitalizer. We'll see what he gets with this. He gets Decidueye and Dartrix, so probably has the replacement Stadium. I think this is his 3rd Forest. Yep, this will be his 3rd. Oh, actually just against Sycamore. Okay, so he's just playing the Revitalizer for no reason, which is fine. Gets rid of a Ninetales and a Vulpix and a DCE. Does get the replacement Stadium, so we'll discard Shaymin, Dragonite for sure, and I guess just the other Shaymin. Yeah, we get rid of Dragonite since he could Field Blower Lysandre that. We don't want to deal with that if we don't have to. Oh, we want to look at stacked view, please. We do only have 1 DCE left, so that's something to consider. We don't have the Sky Field yet, but we do have Lysandre, so it doesn't really matter. Espeon, actually, funny enough, Magearna does prevent Espeon with Mystic Heart, but we do have the game here with the Lysandre via Seeker. I'm gonna go ahead, Lysandre, bring up a Rowlet, or the Dartrix, either one would work. And Emerald Break for the knockout. Taking 2 wins in today's video, playing against a Decidueye deck and also the Vespiquen deck. So 2 good games there. And that is actually going to do it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think of Rayquaza right now. I actually do think it has pretty solid matchups across the board. Like I said, Zoroark is obviously kind of a bad matchup. You can potentially get around that though and win, but it is going to be a hard matchup, that is for sure. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think. That is going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you are watching this the day it was uploaded, I am going to be doing a best of 7 against Azul tonight at 7. So definitely come through if you are a fan of watching those things, or best of 9, excuse me, actually, on my Twitch channel, so twitch.tv/TrainerChip, link will be down in the description. Come through, check it out, and I hope to see you guys there. Thanks so much for watching, as always, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, take care.